You're welcome, Bob. Thank you for coming. Under RSA 91-A:3, comma 2, Roman number 2, we go into non-public. Dick? We're now in non-public.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Sure. Brenda, we all set? All right, so we're back in session. Remember to tap your mic when you're up. Next on the agenda is points of pride. Superintendent.
Okay, so the high school's off to a really positive start to the school year. If you've not heard this before, they are using the CARES language, which is community, adaptability, respect, engagement, and safety, and that has really saturated the school culture. Sports teams have started out the fall on a great note. And an impressive football win of 25-6. We don't see many of those. And they returned home to Conval and sang the Conval fight song in celebration. There's a student club and activity fair on Monday, September 11th, which means during task on the front imprint at the high school, all the clubs and activities will have the time to have students sign up. If you haven't seen it, you should go take a look at the parking lot. It really finishes our high school. It looks fantastic. At GES, they had an amazing meet and greet, and most of the families came out to say hello. GBS fall sports are in full swing. Students had the option of participating in field hockey, boys soccer, girls soccer, boys cross country, volleyball, which is in conjunction with SMS, or for the first time ever, they are doing golf in conjunction with SMS as well. So that is wonderful. And in kindergarten at Hancock Elementary School, the kindergartens have learned to say thank you, bathroom, and listen in American Sign Language. So those are our points of pride. We had an incredible opening. The SAU, of course, continues its tradition of going to all of the schools. The schools look wonderful. The students were very happy to be back, and we begin another great school year. So those are the points of pride.
Approval of the manifest, please.
I certify that the manifest listed below totaling $2,067,132.67 have been reviewed by me and found to be proper charges against the Kentucook Valley School District for goods and/or services received and have been properly processed prior to their submittal to the school board.
I move to pay the manifest.
It's been moved. Can I have a second on the It's moved and seconded. Any questions? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions. Okay, pass, Brenda. Everyone. Next on our agenda is place for public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak to the board? If you come forward, give us your name, your town you're from. We allow 2 minutes, and that can be extended by board approval. So please. There's a mic. There you go.
I don't think I need a mic, but anyway. Mr. Fergus, Mr. Fredrickson, and Selectman Kennedy from Peterborough asked me to come down, encouraged me to come down here and speak today. My father used to sing me a song before every school year. School days, all the golden rule days, reading, writing, and arithmetic. Talk to the teacher with arithmetic. And state test scores for proficiency, I guess, are under 50%. During the lockdown, after the lockdown, we lost 140 students, unfortunately. Charter schools and home schools are rising up. Lionheart has a waiting list. Sharon residents pay $25,000 for Conval, while New Ipswich and Jaffrey are paying under $15,000. Mr. Jim told me it was impractical to withdraw from Conville School. And I told him it's impractical for me to pay over $10,000 for the same product. When the contract was signed, what, in 1972, I was around 12 years old, and there was no Department of Education. There was no teachers union. My father wouldn't sign that contract today. I wouldn't sign that contract today, and my adult children wouldn't sign that contract today. And my God has been kicked out of the public schools, and another God has entered, and I can't support paying taxes for that. I can only see this ending one or two ways. I'm done here. It's either going to end with, like Moses said, free my people, or we all agree that the emperor has no clothes, and we come to the table and get back to reading, writing, and arithmetic. The students are suffering, families are suffering, and, you know, I just wish you guys would, well, just think about what I said. Thank you. Appreciate your time
Thank you for coming.
and your work.
Consent agenda? Is there any questions on the consent agenda? Right. Yeah. As long as there's no objections, we don't have to accept it. We just have to acknowledge we've seen it. So if there are no questions, then we won't need to have a motion to do that. Thank you, Bill. Superintendent's report.
Okay, let's start with the monthly events calendar. Can we come back to that? Would that be okay? Yeah. And just so I can, it was an excellent time. I just don't actually have that spreadsheet up at this particular second in time. The monthly events calendar, you can see tonight's school board, there's a policy committee meeting on the 7th, budget and property on the,
Catherine?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the policy committee moving to Thursday, the 7th. I just wanted to ask, is 7 PM a good time, or do you want to move it to 6 or 6:30? But I
That's,
wanted to know about the other members and the administration.
so I'm actually not here on the 7th, but
General.
there is a negotiation session prior to that. And
Okay.
I believe that starts at 4:30. Yep. So that is why it was put at 7.
Okay.
so Catherine, let's do this. We'll meet at 7. When the committee meets, if they want to move it to 6 o'clock in the future, the committee can decide to do that.
5:15 to 7:15. Yep.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask, because I see it in October on a Tuesday before school board at 5:45.
Yeah, I know, don't
So
worry, just take it
I
off.
think that's the plan, and correct me if I'm wrong, is for the policy committee to meet on Thursday and decide
What we're gonna do.
Yeah.
what they're going to do moving forward. And my understand was that was likely going to be on Thursdays. But that was
Okay.
just, so budget and property is at
So
5:45.
let's go back. Policy is going to meet at 7, but negotiation goes to 7:15.
Yes, we were trying to meet everyone's needs.
Right, I get that. So is there anybody in policy that's going to be in negotiations? Because if it goes, so do we start at 7 or we start at 7:15? I just want people to come for policy. If they think they're starting at 7, we should start at 7. If we don't think we're going to start at 7, then make it 7:15. So,
So we can certainly post an addendum or
Well,
updated, but we did
If people
post the
understand they
meeting.
get here at 7 o'clock, they may have to wait till 7:15. I'm okay with that. I just want people to know when they arrive. If- Okay, very good. All right, go ahead, Kimberly. Budget and
Sorry,
property.
budget and property is on Tuesdays. I know that that's an off meeting. School board again, and then selectmen's advisory on the 28th. Are there any other additional meetings that need to be scheduled? Okay, and then if you look at October, we know that that policy committee meeting is there as a placeholder, but may be moved. Budget and property is on the 17th. I just need to be really clear that gives you only an hour for budget and property because we need to be in here by 6:45 to get everything set up and ready for the meeting. So it's not, it's about not having the people that need to be present at the meeting. It's not about the room. We have to get the live stream set up, all of those things. So Brenda's not there because she's setting up the live stream. I need to be here to shift to here, so it's up to you. What? Well, shorter meetings. Okay, everyone likes shorter meetings. If there's any other meetings that need to be added to October, I would just ask the chairs to keep in mind that meetings are supposed to be on Mondays, Tuesdays, or Thursdays. Wednesdays and Fridays are non-meeting days. Nope, negotiations are not necessary to be posted. They're not considered meetings.
I only suggest it because it causes some conflicts.
Yes. Yep. Okay, so that is the monthly events calendar. I'm going to turn it back over regarding policy chair and meetings to you.
Right, policy's going to meet on Thursday, and at that point, they can elect a chair and pick the time they want to meet, and we'll make that decision on Thursday. I will be there.
Okay, just to answer your question, we do have presently 16.35 positions still open. I'm happy to go through. There is one. Nine para of those positions are para. There is a admin assistant position, a CODA, which is a certified occupational therapist assistant. There are 3.75 math positions open at the high school, a custodian. There are two CTE positions open. And I'm happy to answer any other specific questions. I'm sorry? There are 16.35 positions still not filled. 9 of those are, 10 really are paraprofessional positions. I would say that any case management is critical, special ed case management, because we have trouble meeting our legal requirements. And we have 3 of those open. If it's any consolation, we are not the only district who has open positions. At last count, one New Hampshire district had almost 40. So, including major pieces of their administration. School board requests. I believe that I am up to date on school board requests. Please tell me if I'm wrong. Am I right? Yes. Okay. No, that's okay. September 1 enrollment. As a matter of fact, this is enrollment as of close of business today. So if you have questions regarding enrollment, please let me know. We are the same this year as we are, that we were this time last year, so.
Jim? Mike? You got to,
If I'm looking at the preschool, we've got the number of sections we talked about having. We don't have the students now.
Oh, but we do. So
do?
remember that we have to hold spots
Okay.
in preschool for children that we know are going to turn 3, and we can't fill those spots because we know those children are coming.
So what's your projection? Then?
So, well, right now we have a wait list.
We update you then.
Yeah, it will be full, but
Good. And
I mean,
last year we didn't have enough teachers, correct?
right. So we are very fortunate. But yes, we have a wait list, I guess, like Lionheart does, for preschool.
That's good news.
I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? Sorry. Okay. So we do have good news regarding enrollment. And I'm going to turn this over now to Dr. Forrest, who is going to talk to you a little bit about the annual assessment calendar. When you think about annual assessments, some people go, annual assessments, with the exception of the New Hampshire statewide assessment, these assessments don't take days and days and hours. So one of the things sometimes when we're explaining them to parents, particularly NWEA and AIMSweb, often referred to as probes, we try to use the analogy of a well child visit. We don't think that there's a problem. We just want to check so that if there is a problem, we address it right away. So Dr. Forrest is going to talk a little more about what these are and what they do.
Okay, so we have a district policy, ILBA, which is Assessment of Education Programs. In that policy, it says that we need to put together a schedule specifically around state assessments of approximately when they'll be given, and distribute that to the board and to staff. So you don't have to approve this, but we bring it to the board first so that you can review it, and then we will share it with all of our staff. Yes, it used to go to Ed Committee, and you all are now the full Ed Committee. So a copy of it is in your packet, and you'll see, in addition to state assessments, we also include all of our district-wide assessments that we give. So you have 2 pages. The first one really is the schedule, fall, winter, and spring of the assessments we give. The second page provides a brief description of the different assessments as well as the time that it takes to take the assessments. There is one correction. There is a change to the SAT this year. And so previously 3 to 4 hours was listed. It's now 2 hours and 14 minutes. So that change will be made. So some of the changes, and you'll see there, most of the changes, the descriptions are in the footer of the schedule. So the major changes this year are the state is changing the writing prompts for students in grades 3 to 8. And so they've also changed the rubric that they're using to score those prompts. So those are being given in a separate window of between March 4th and the 15th. And then the window for the math and reading opens up after that. And SAT is moving platforms. So they're moving away from the state platform, Cambian, I believe is, and they're going to the digital platform from the College Board. And so there are a few changes with that, with the SAT. It's going to be a little bit shorter. Kids can take it on their device. Things like as long as we have internet at the beginning of the assessment, if for some reason we lost internet, the student can continue on. The platform, they'll have access to scholarships as well as college planning resources. So all the changes seem positive. Kids will get to take it on their Chromebooks, so a device that's familiar to them. But those are the writing for 3 to 8 and the switch in platforms for the SAT. And I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Only comment I have is separating out the writing and the math and making it 2 different times in some ways sounds like a pretty good idea, actually. So you're not just test. Let's take a break. Yeah, very good. Any questions? All right, seeing none. Thank you, Ann.
You're welcome.
Just please bear with me as I knew I had 2 reports to do, so I wrote everything down I'm going to say. And then I forgot that I'm supposed to be wearing temporary reading glasses, so I left them home. Okay. Press release on the,
You want to try these? These are readers.
Yeah.
Look through the bottom, see if it helps.
no, I can't. Oh, I'm okay, I can read. Thanks. What the heck? Okay, from the SOC, press release, collaborative effort of SOC folks to produce a comprehensive, fact-filled, all-encompassing, good-length writing telling folks about the project, why it's being done, the approach we are taking with the consulting firm, community engagement, meeting, both online and in person, individual town meetings, etc. An excellent and well-received by the Monadnock Ledger Transcript and Keene Sentinel. Monadnock Ledger Transcript published intact last Thursday in their viewpoint section. Keene Sentinel published their version of the press release, but the content was factual. This could not have been done without a collaborative effort and cooperation of two SOC members, which is Tom and Dan. Amazing job. Thank you two so much. Copies of the news release were sent to the school board administration prior to release. Selectmen's letter for individual town meetings. Letter we wrote for selectmen for each town to customize for their town. Letter given at last SAC meeting and also sent via email to SAC members. Conval paying postage total of $1,800. Each town paying prep cost totals for all towns of $1,400. Reasonable sharing of expenses and approved. There's been hundreds of back and forth emails with the towns and others. Meetings to be done by, mailings to be done by Friday. We'll pick up the postage ready mailings from each town, bring to their post office and get the postage on each letter and mail. That makes sense? Okay, good. Activities with Prismatic. August 14th to the 17th. Individual interviews with school board meetings. Reviews were great from both sides. Tasha was impressed with the school board reps. Thank you all for taking time to participate and share the information. Site visits to all schools went well. Got lay of the land. Impressed with the good shape of the elementary schools. Upcoming activity, September 11th through the 22nd. The online survey will be ready. And September 18th through October 5th will be the individual town meetings. October 9th through October 13th is the time frame for the online forum. We haven't picked the exact date yet. And September 18th to October 5th, staff interviews, which will be food service, transportation, education, and special ed. November 15 is what they call the data party, which is information sharing on everybody's take on the data that we receive from all the meetings we've had. And December, sometime that month, will be the writing of the report. That'll be done. Questions? Sure. Oh, yeah. The towns are definitely aware of that. They've all been, no, the picking up of the cost of mailing was done after the SAC meeting. right? So, no, we made the decision that we'll pick up the mailing costs and the towns will pick up the prep costs. Some of the towns, I am getting the postage ready mailing, and some of the towns are going to the post office themselves and will send us a bill. November 15th.
Jim?
The addressing is standard addressing. Okay, so, that gets printed on either one. The envelopes or the trifold, it's, all it is, postal patron and the town. That's all, it's a bulk mailing. I'm sorry? Yeah, if you're doing envelopes, you get them ready, you get ready to be mailed, okay, and I'll come pick them up. That answer your question?
Jim? Catherine?
You can mail a flat piece of paper. It doesn't even need to be trifolded with the EDDM symbol on it, and you get the bulk rate. You would not want to use an envelope because that's going to change the bulk rate because it's by weight. So you can mail just a flat sheet. We do it all the time in my town. This will come through the mail to all postal patrons, just like this. The back will have all the postal
Yeah, you can
patron.
do it, you can do that, but you still, they may want to use the envelope, it'll still get the bulk rate.
No, can't.
I'm sorry? It's 2 pages. So, the way I've been told this works is that if you're doing an envelope, if you're doing a, the non-envelope route of it, is that you still fold it as a trifold, and it's a regular size, and then all you do is put the town on it and postal patron. I've done that before. Yeah, but it's more than one piece of paper, Kathy. It's 2. Okay, then you don't have to fold it. That's all it is.
Any other questions about postage, or are we all set? Okay,
Okay,
all right, Alan, thank you. Continue.
now, I'll do the SAC one too.
And you're next on that too.
On SAC, Tasha Prito, the president of Prismatic, spoke about the project and Prismatic's approach. Good discussion following talks. Spoke about the letter to the public, copy given to all in attendance, and process to get it customized for each town. And basically, it's a letter that we wrote, and it has information in it that the town had to customize to in turn get it mailable. Bill Kennedy, Peterborough Selectmen expressed concern about this being a non-budget town expense. Discussion followed. Update, Conval will pay for the postage cost of mailing, approximately 60% of mailing and prep work. So Catherine, from what you were saying, if it is folded, it's no big deal. Okay, we'll leave it alone then. Thanks, man. Yeah, done.
Right.
Any other
Uh, we-
questions?
We don't need a budget and property report because they haven't met since the last time we met, so we won't hear from Jim. Old business, Pierce School Playground. Superintendent?
Okay, so you all got a fact sheet regarding the Pierce Athletic Playground. There had been some consternation about the new law, which is also talked about and recommended. It's here for you to take a look at. Based on that, Tim and his playground people went through and said, how can we solve this problem? And they think that they can do that for approximately $140. So that is the additional cost for the new law, which is 467. Just to be really clear, there's not a lot of guidance out about HB 467. And so there, when we talk to people about, well, what is a resilient solid surface material, Tim shared that corner and countertop is actually considered a resilient solid surface. So, so you guys need to make a decision at this point on whether you're going to have us move forward with the Pierce Playground and accept. So it was accepting the gift from the PTO. They do need an additional, I believe it was $11,000. And then this would be $840.
Dr. Cribble?
I hate to ask the question, but is this something we need to run by our council just to make sure that Tim and his playground people are interpreting this correctly? I'm not a big fan of lawyer bills, but I'd hate for us to go through all this and then have it bite us in the butt.
If I could have a motion to that thought?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I don't have 11. We have 9.
High school, middle schools don't have playgrounds.
Anyway. Like real playgrounds.
Any other questions?
We have a lot of playgrounds.
All right, that's, any other questions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions, all right. Superintendent?
It's nice to have playgrounds instead of just a parking lot, like some schools do. Budget guidance. It's under old business.
Yeah, I know that budget guidance, it was spoken a bit at budget and property, but, right.
Okay.
Thank you. Fourth school board goal consideration.
did everybody get a chance to look at the goal for, I have a couple of copies here. If you didn't, it's in the packet too. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Brenda. So the reason I thought about this was because, as you are probably aware, there is a lot of misinformation, our public comment period, out in the public right now about public schools. Not only misinformation, but a lot of negative press. We're getting a lot of negative press in the general public, in the public marketplace. I think it's important that we as school board members stand up for public schools and try to clarify as much as we can what actually goes on in our schools. I think it's it symbolizes our belief in what we do and our support for the administration, the teachers, the parents, the children, and our community members who pay taxes to support those schools. So I looked at some marketing strategies and there came up with a couple of things that we could do. And the way I envision this goal is we would pick out one of these things and commit to doing it during the school year. At the end of the year, we would make a list of those that we had completed for when we review our success as a board or our performance as a board. So they're all fairly straightforward. I think there's enough that everybody could find something that would be fairly suited to their personality and their desire. Some are as easy as writing 3 letters to your elected officials stating your position on pending legislation, something everybody does just about anyway. But I think like getting other information out in the public about what public schools are and why they're important and what actually goes on in the classrooms will counteract some of the negative press that we're consistently getting. We have a wonderful communications contract that does a wonderful job of maintaining our website and getting news press releases out there about the positive things that are happening in the Conval School District. But I think it's something a little bit different for school board members to stand up and talk about like why public schools are important and how they support our democracy.
Any questions for Janine? I think for all of you as board members, one of these listed here is visiting the school you represent. That's really, the thing I heard from teachers is how important it is to see a board member walk into their school.
Yeah.
So there's one by just doing that is a tremendous positive thing. So there's one down already.
And write a letter to a letter to the editor about
Right.
it, you know, in the Ledger or the Sentinel, but
Sure.
probably the Ledger or your local paper.
Or going to a Conval athletic event, you know,
Yes.
something like that, and just taking a few shots, and you can pass them on to our communication people and say, you know, school board member visits homecoming and whatever. So I see these tasks really very positive, whichever one you may choose. So any questions about adding this goal? Aaron?
Just a question in terms of facilitating some of them that talk about taking pictures, making sure that we're taking pictures that we take pictures of people who have given us permission.
Number one, you can't take pictures of students in schools. I wouldn't even go there. I just wouldn't take facial pictures, their feet, the activity. If you're at a sporting event, you can take a picture. That's a public event. But in the school, you got to be a little more cautious. So I wouldn't take photos in the school, actually, but at a sporting event, easily. But yes, thank you, Aaron, absolutely. So any questions, Tom?
Letter to the editor. And now, is a letter to the editor a thing? Yeah. Yeah, I can give you some examples, Tom.
Superintendent?
So I wanted to clarify that we do get permission for children, and adults don't have the same protections in a public building that children do.
Other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Yeah, Dan.
Like, you know, that chart. I like the idea. How would you do that? Would it be on the website? I have developed a chart listing the different.
Oh, yeah. Between public schools, charter schools. I think for like distribution. Yeah, you might be able to put it on the website, or you might be able to share it in your own town. You could share it with other board members who may be able to use it. You could share it with your legislature.
Okay.
It's information about how public schools actually work.
Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor of adding an additional goal to our goals for the year? Okay, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions. Very good. Thank you, Janine. We have second reading on policies. The first policy for the second read is KFA, Public Conduct on School Property. Could I have a motion to approve the policy? It's been moved and seconded. Can I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions. All right. Second policy is JLCF Wellness. Can I have a motion to approve? Been moved. Can I have a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions. Thank you very much. We have a gift from the Conval High School requesting authorization to accept from Tom Lance the gift and donation of a Yamaha portable PA system valued at $900 for the purpose of use at various high school events. Could I have a motion to accept?
I move.
Been moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions. Regional 14 Applied Technology Center requests authorization to accept from the Hypertherm Associates the gift donation of PowerMax 65/85 plasma arc cutting system valued at $15,000 for the purpose of instructing students using industry standard equipment software to cut metal. Can I have a motion to approve? Accept. I'm sorry. Been moved and seconded.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions. All right. Region 14, Applied Technology Center requests the authorization to accept from PI Filsky the instruments the following gift donation of metal stock valued at $500 for the purpose of providing metal for students to practice welding. Motion to accept the donation. Seconded, been moved and seconded. Any questions? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Abstentions. Thank you. Second opportunity for public comment. Not seeing any. Do we need to go into
We do.
superintendent?
Yeah, so just before
Yes.
we move out of the meeting, I did want to share some information that in 21-22, Jaffrey Ringe's average cost per student was $18,347, and Messinix was $17,340. Obviously still lower than our average cost per student. And I would remind everyone that the average cost per student across the state of New Hampshire now exceeds $19,000. So I just wanted to make sure we were clear because I think maybe some misinformation was shared earlier this evening. Thank you.
Catherine.
Would you entertain new business for the purpose of discussing a school board delegate at our School Board Association upcoming policy setting conference, which is to be held at the Grapponi Center in Concord in person on October 14th at 9:45 a.m. We do not have the policies yet to review, but I am unable to attend. Not that I've been nominated to be your delegate again this year, but I did want to make sure the date and the information is out there so another member could represent us at that important policy setting conference.
So both Catherine and I will be away on those days, and so neither one of us will be able to go. Is there anyone who would be interested in representing us and coming forward, and we would give more information as we move forward.
It's very interesting.
I'm looking for a volunteer. I'm not looking for someone to be forced. So if there's any, yeah, I'm just, if there's somebody who would like to volunteer, please let me know. October 14th.
The purpose is that
Yeah,
they
I don't think you're
offer,
available,
yeah.
Mr. Frederickson.
they offer nice food,
14th.
but the purpose is that we will vote on
No,
resolution.
you're gonna be with me, I think.
So we will be getting from the school board associations resolutions that they then advocate for on our behalf. So all members of the school board association gets one representative to vote on our school board's behalf on how we feel about certain policy areas or specific proposals. And then they bring those forward when they advocate for us in Concord. They only advocate for what we tell them to advocate for, the policies that we tell them to. So it's an important exercise to raise our voice if we're for or against something someone's proposing, so that we show solidarity when we go to Concord. So yes, they will send those out, usually about a month before, so it's a little premature, but knowing I couldn't make that date, and it's a Saturday, I was hoping someone would get on the calendar. And then we vote here on each policy, and then the delegate takes that vote to Concord, regardless of their personal, they take that to Concord.
Janine?
It's usually we have the opportunity to decide as a board whether we want to put out a proposal. Is that open to us this year or no?
The deadline was June 30th to submit something.
So if I have a volunteer, please let me know. And we've got some time to have Catherine update us on what we want to bring forward as a yay or a nay. So please let me know unless somebody wants to volunteer tonight.
Yeah, I will look into whether or not I'm available on.
All right. And get back in the air and let me know, and be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
1-A:3, Roman 2. Can I have a motion? Moved. Do I have a second? Moved and seconded. Dick? Greg?